Fairgrounds are full of enthusiasts, motorcycle enthusiasts, and not just motorcycle enthusiasts, but antique motorcycle enthusiasts. Scotty Brown's with me. Scotty, how long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been involved in motorcycles all my life, racing them for 35 years. It goes way back. My grandpa in 1912 bought his first Harley, so it's kind of in the blood.
I see. So here you get together with antique motorcyclists from all over the country who come together. They spend several days here at the Fulton County Fairgrounds, but they gotta have some fun too. They get to race them too.
That's right. This is a great venue. It's the home of the AMC's National, American Motorcycle Historical, and they've been doing it 27 years. We've been putting the races on 3 years, and it just goes over great. You can hear the fans back there. We haven't even got to the main events. We do this annually, it's mid-July, and third year booming. Good weather.
Tell me about the bikes. You have several different kinds of bikes that race here.
We do. What's getting the attention of the History Channel is the board track bikes. They run from the teens through the 20s, and they just did an interview with Dale Wachsler in the History Channel. That bike that he found was the last Harley-Davidson board tracker ever built. Very rare. He found the motor in Iowa, joined the two together, brings it to Wasion to race it.
Now tell me, a board tracker, what does that mean?
That's the type of bike they raced in the 20s and the teens, back in the days of American board track, which means a lot of major cities had a track made of wood, all boards. And it was very competitive. It was in the dawning of the industrial age and the mechanical powered things, so the speed was the thing. They were doing around 100 mile an hour way back then. And it got very popular up until there were some crashes and people got hurt. And in the 30s it kind of died off, and that's where they found that Harley-Davidson from. But you asked me the classes. We do that. Board track's the opening of it, the beginning. Okay. And we go into the tank shift class from the 30s and the 40s where they're shifting gears on the tank. We go into the 50s where they went through a brakeless period where there's no brakes on the bikes.
I was just going to say, I saw that there weren't any brakes on some of these. Why didn't they put brakes on them?
Well, you know, if you had one guy with brakes and the rest of them didn't have brakes, there's a big problem. Okay. So these bikes back then are into a broadslide, so brakes don't do you any good anyway. Okay. Well, later as the years went on, we have classes in the 70s and 80s. Brakes came into the picture. The tracks changed a little and they have brakes. So things changed, but we also have some of those pro classes running that are really getting with the program.
You know, it surprises me that people want to race some of these bikes. They look like they belong in museums.
Well, the statement's been made. There's over $1 million worth of those board trackers going on. They actually bring those out of the museums. And that one that Dale Wachsler's got there is on its own is priceless.
It must be a case of, you know, that's what the bike was meant to do, and so you bring him out here and you let him race. Yeah,
you know, his whole museum that wheels through time is that everything in there runs. So, I mean, I guess goes right in with the theme of things. Thunder Road's going to be the name of that pilot. That's going to be a series. Okay. And we're here annually. We're going to be here next July, and the one after that. We really like Fulton County and the area, the people. Perfect venue to do it. I've got a great staff. The guy right standing next to me here, Jimmy Green, old flat track guy. It's a bunch of us buddies putting it together. And folks got to come out and check us out.
Now, what does it take to be a good motorcycle racer?
Well, I'm not sure what it might be. A little bit of lack of no, it's not that. Oh, yeah. No, it's a lot of fun, a lot of common sense, and if you have a mechanical ability, that's a big plus. And just the will to want to do it. We've got guys racing from you know, not so much out here, but they race from 4 years old. We've got Ronnie Rawl, who's a legend. He's here racing today. Ronnie Rawl is in the AMA's Hall of Fame Museum. And he's 70 years old. And I just watched him win a heat race.
And he's still out there going.
Yeah.
Tell me some of the things you've done. I understand you're quite the celebrity here, too.
Well, I've got a long span of racing. And my accomplishments, I guess, were on a speedway motorcycle. I did some motocross racing. I did a lot of different forms, trials. But in speedway racing, got to travel all over the world. We did a tour down through New Zealand. I was the team captain of the American team. And seen the upper and lower island of New Zealand, every state in the Union. And coming from Ohio, a cold climate, I honed my ice racing skills, took them to Southern California and won a world championship. So I'm a former world champion at ice racing. So now I'm promoting and sharing the sport I love.
Now, how many kinds of races for the Antique Motorcycle Club would there be across the United States in a year?
There's actually the two biggest ones are this one in Wasion, there's one in Davenport, Iowa.
Okay.
And a guy named Matt George, it's in September, I believe September 4th. A very good event to take in.
Okay. All right. People look forward to this all year long?
They do. And we plan for it all year long.
Now, how many guys will you have come race motorcycles during a time like this?
Well, I think today's entries, this is the specialist of that, 150 entries, somewhere around there.
150 total, yep, exactly.
Where do they come from, Jimmy?
They're as far away as Washington State. We have a guy from Washington State here, Iowa, New Jersey, New York. On the Speedway, some of the guys come from Canada. We got them from everywhere, all over the country. It's amazing.
Tell me a little bit about your career here. What have you been involved in?
Well, back in the 70s, I was a flat track racer also. At one point, I was about sixth in the AMA District 12 in that time. I got a son now that's 16. He races the motocross stuff, which I don't do. Now, he don't like this out here at 80 and 90 mile an hour down the straight, but he'll do all the crazy jumps and everything. So that's not for me, but that's a little bit what I do. So I don't
in the pits. I've been to him. He's in the pits coaching.
He's given the expertise there. Right. They go 80 to 90 miles an hour in this track?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Wow. And some of them without brakes.
Yeah. Well, that Speedway class, like I was saying, that's what I came from, Speedway racing. And today is the Speedway Ohio Championship. So we pulled some of the top riders all from the Midwest. And by the time it gets up to that, the way the program works is they run a series of heat races, then tabulate the points, go into a last chance qualifier to get them into the semifinals.
Okay.
Then from the semifinals, the main events, and there will be an A and a B main event.
Do they have to pre-qualify to come? Can anybody bring in an antique motorcycle and decide to run?
They can. And we do pre-registration. You go to bikedays.com, and they can pre-register, learn all about it, get registered, and come and have fun with us.
So what's the trick? What makes a really good rider out here that's going to end up winning here?
I think experience plays a huge role in it. Sometimes the guys winning, they were the winners back in their era. And they know that bike, they know the track, and I find them to be very organized people and know where the limitations are. You got to get across that finish flag, push it but not too far.